Hi everyone, how are you? This is part 30, and I'm really sorry I had to abruptly end part 29. Boo Boo jumped up on the keyboard and locked it, and it was a mess. So I'm not exactly sure where I ended. I know that I was close to, um, let's see here. Let's go back. How have you all been? I hope well. Well, that's my Tabitha Jane. There we go. And y'all see I'm at 842. Let's see here. Okay. So I stopped around here on Discovery page 1075 and 958. And that's where it was just going over more of what Baumhover had submitted into evidence. And let's see here. Very, very repetitive, as we've been talking about. But I kind of want to skim through here to make sure we didn't miss anything. Um, like I say, it's frustrating because it is honestly repetitive. But let me see here. So if we go back up here to, well, we'll put that we're going to start on 1074 of the Discovery pages. And we're going to start on 957 of the pages out of 1960. And I'm still asking around as to what the positive amphetamines in a barely 3-year-old child a toxicology at autopsy could mean. And anybody who is even in the healthcare field and my friend who's a forensic nurse, they're all going, what? That they never heard that, they never saw this part. And like I say, it's just one of those things where it wasn't included in the actual write up of the autopsy. It's one of the things that's in the raw data, and that's where I think that we end up seeing things that we have more questions and answers of. And I know that Christopher Watts waived his right to a trial, waived his right to know all of the evidence and whatnot, but that does not mean that everything is said and done. The second that he decides to stand up and fight for the truth is when it will be done. He can still go under the 35C. There is no limitation on capital offenses, especially in Colorado. So, what it would mean is that you have to come up with significant new evidence. Well, the fact that there was basically no evidence brought up at his sentencing means that so much of these things are new. Now, because he waived it and they might have been there at the time, well, what does that mean? I don't know. It would take an attorney to figure that all out. But when you see things like positive amphetamines in CC, that's new. I don't think that that was there. When you have these supplemental autopsy reports that came out, I'd be very interested to see if that was after the sentencing. When it is becoming more and more clear that it is true and factual that all letters and communication to Christopher Watts were not allowed to reach him, they were prohibited from making their appearance to him until after he was sentenced, that is a violation of an inmate's rights. And there was some speculation that he was under solitary confinement during that time, and I don't see proof of that, and I don't know where that came from and why that would be. So to say that there's nothing new is not true. There is a lot of new things that were not considered in the sentencing. supplemental reports of this nature that continue are questionable. I would like to see more of them and make sure that they are coming from reliable sources um, before I was able to say, okay, definitely that came from this autopsy. Why are there so many supplementals as opposed to not being there at the autopsy? I hear what the supplementals supposedly say. I do hear them, but for right now, where I'm just going through what I can in the main discovery, I'm sticking to that. When I find the supplementals, and I do have some, then I'll put them together with that. Um, but those kinds of things would be necessary because there's no reason for amphetamines to be in a child ever. I mean, if she had a allergic reaction and her EpiPen needed to be used, that's a form of adrenaline. It's not an amphetamine. The way that Cece acted wasn't normal. I mean, she was hyperactive. I think that's because she was a child who was tired of being locked up and pushed away and ignored, and she needed stimulation and attention. Um, but what if she was being given an amphetamine? I don't know what to think of it. I can't get it out of my mind. Gotta get that settled before I can honestly get it out of my head. You know what I mean? So this supplemental report is chronicling the property, and it said, it has here that because this is Baumhover speaking, I believe. Let's check that. Because it says lines, and then we've got Sergeant Albert. So then when it comes down here, I don't really see who the narrator is on this, and maybe it's at the end. Let's see who signs this one. Does nobody sign it? Okay. Officer M. James. Okay. So this is just really a review or his report from where Officer James was standing that is very consistent with what the other officers have said. And like I say, I don't want to bore anybody. This is beyond repetitious at this point. And I'm sorry I'm not being that entertaining. I don't want to disrespect any of the material. And so I am more serious than usual as I go through this, because I'm trying to make sense out of nonsense. That's what I'm doing. So this is talking about when they did the press release, and when the CBI agents began working on background checks and identifying leads, Agent Coder and I discussed conducting a formal interview with Watts. Because I believe Watts would provide me the same information he did the previous day, 8/13/18, I asked Agent Coder to interview him. Okay, that's a wise move to have somebody else kind of set up the questions. And so it says at approximately 1846 hours, that is 6:46 to us civilians, I contacted Watts via phone and asked if he would be open to another interview at the police department. He said he would, and arrived later that evening at approximately 2000 hours, which is 8 o'clock p.m. Upon Watts' arrival, I introduced him to Agent Coder and informed him that I had requested assistance from outside agencies to assist us in locating Shanann and the girls. Watts acknowledged this and agreed to speak with Agent Coder. Refer to Agent Coder's report for the specifics regarding the interview. Now, at this point, my mind just went to, well, when Shanann's mother was calling up and, commanding to be updated from the officers and saying that, well, she's calling the FBI. Well, the FBI and CBI and everything was already well apprised of the situation. I just thought, well, why didn't Chris let her know? Well, let's remember, when she called Chris, she was accusatory to him, threatening, and rude. I don't know that their relationship was ever anything but that, to be honest. But anyway, it says in here that he briefly met with Watts, thanked him for cooperating, showed him the film from Walmart, and of course, that wasn't them. And then it said that Watts agreed to return the following day on 8/15. At 8:15, the 0600, they did the consensual search of the residence, and it should be noted that the search was scheduled the previous evening, and Watts provided consent at that time. I met with Officer Perez, who was assigned to maintain security of the residence, as Watts stayed the night at a friend's house. Shortly thereafter, I was met by Officer Wally, CBI agent Matt Saylor, and crime scene analyst Dave Yoakum. So Christopher had full access to the house to dispose of alleged evidence until Wednesday morning at 0600. Now, his fatal circumstantial mistake was that he put the linen, or somebody put the linen associated with whatever happened, because it matched up with the linen at the grave sites. He put that in the trash. He had access to the home, so why wouldn't he have just nicely folded that linen and put it in the linen closet behind other things if he didn't think that he could safely get them to a place to throw them out? And then just remake the beds with different sheets. The sheets in the garbage are a huge problem. But, I mean, like I said, he was there, so why wouldn't he have, done something about them if he really did it? You just have to wonder back and forth, both sides. So then it says, I was present for the initial part of the search and called back to the police department to address a separate issue. Okay, we know that. And then that's where he says, prior to leaving the residence, I was able to observe the discovery of bed sheets that were located in the kitchen trash can. Okay, we know that. Then it says the bed sheets were removed from the trash. I noted the bottom fitted sheet was missing, and at least one pillowcase had some type of dark residue on it. And this residue contained what appeared to be glitter. And that's where in the other thing, I believe that it said they believed that residue what looked like eye makeup, eyeshadow. And then it says at approximately 1100 hours, Watts arrived to the Frederick Police Department for an additional interview and to undergo a polygraph exam administered by CBI agent Tamburglar Lee. And then after the polygraph concluded, Agent Lee and Coder met with Watts again at approximately 1600 hours, which is 4 o'clock, to advise him the results of the polygraph test, and indicated he was deceptive and asked that he speak the truth about what happened to Shanann and the girls. Watts continued to deny knowing anything about their disappearance, but admitted to having an affair with Nikki Kessinger. And then it says at one point, Agent Lee asked Watts if Shanann did something to the girls that caused him to do something to her. Watts continued to deny any involvement, but eventually asked to speak with his father, who was present at the police department. When Watts' father, Ronnie Watts, entered the interview room, Watts told him he failed the polygraph test and that he admitted to having an affair. Watts ultimately explained the events that occurred on the morning of 8/13/18 to Ronnie and described how Shanann killed their daughters, which drove him into a rage, causing him to kill her. Okay. Now, when we watched this, it was curious to me that Papa Ronnie did not act surprised about the news that Christopher was having an affair. That he just, nodded along like, he knew it. So I don't know if when Christopher Watts was back in North Carolina, if he told his father that he was having an affair, or how that was not surprising news to his father, because you would think it would be. Okay. And then, prior to Watts disclosing the events surrounding their deaths and the location of their bodies, Firestone police investigators located via drone equipment equipped with a camera the missing fitted bedsheet and 2 black plastic bags in a field adjacent to the Survey 319 oil tank site. Okay. So it's all there, the same. Now, there's nothing here as overnight scene security for Survey 319 had not yet been established. As a result, I self-assigned the task, collected some personal items, and responded to oil site with a copy of the search warrant. Well en route, I received a call from Chief Deputy Coroner Joey Weiner advising me Shanann's body had been located. Upon arrival, I met with Joey and ultimately assisted her in extracting Shanann's remains from the clandestine grave Watts identified during his interview with Agents Lee and Coder. During the extraction, Joey and I bagged Shanann's hands and also placed a clean sheet at the bottom of the cadaver bag in an attempt to preserve any evidence that may have been present but not visible at the time. The decomposition, it was difficult to recognize the body from photographs, but it was presumed based Watts' admission. Joey took custody of Shanann's body shortly after midnight. On scene, I met with CBI crime scene analyst Dave Yoakum and took custody of the evidence he collected from the scene on 8/15/18, prior to my arrival. I signed the chain of custody forms and photographed them. Yoakum later provided PDF copies of the documents. I remained on site as scene security, nothing further. And then it has here where it says, on 9/9/2018, Detective Baumhover requested I upload the images and videos I took on my department-issued cell phone while at Walmart on 8/14/2018. The video and images were of the adult female and 2 juvenile females that a citizen believed were Shanann, Bella, and Celeste. I also took screenshots of the text messages Detective Baumhover and I exchanged while I was at Walmart. The photos, videos, and text messages were uploaded to evidence.com. Nothing further, Officer M. James, Frederick Police Department. And you can bet I tried to get on evidence.com. I tried to see, because it's like a membership thing, and I tried to get a membership, but it was no way, no how. But I tried. I definitely tried. I mean, why not, right? Okay. So then, a supplemental property report. It says, it should be noted that on 9/4/2018, while running through the evidence submission list with lab tech Patricia, okay, I can't talk today. I, I'm, I had the virus again, Monday through Wednesday, the sore throat, the never ending snot again, and just, horrible fatigue. And I felt a little better and, had some bigger periods of waking. And now I'm in a waking period, but my brain just hasn't warmed up yet. I'm sorry. I'll shake my coconut drink with caffeine and see if it'll start kicking things in. I've got my lemon loaf tea and blackberry lemonade and coconut water. Trying to get the brain working with all of these run-on sentences that are missing words and have words that are not. I believe that they probably outsourced these recordings, and a person who did not speak English as their first language typed a lot of this, because there are just so many words that aren't in the correct tense and aren't used properly. So it's tough because things don't flow right. So, and bottom line, I've got COVID brain. We all know that. So, got long COVID and COVID brain. So, we do the best we can with my feeble mind, huh? I hope that you guys are all staying healthy. Hospitals are still full, but not as full as they were, so things are kind of calming down. But I'm vaccinated. I want to say it because I don't know if that's what happened to my channel, but I've had the 2 shots and a booster shot, and had the confirmation of the VID 2 times confirmed by tests 1 year apart. So I don't know. I'm just tired of being sick and tired of being sick. So it should be noted that on 9/4/2018, while running through evidence submission list with lab tech Patricia Lopez, several items were listed on the CBI lab ultimately did not wish to take possession of at that time. Those items are crossed out. Okay. Let me read it one more time. Several items were listed that the CBI lab ultimately did not wish to take possession of at that time. Okay, there we go. My God. I'm actually going to go back and show you how long this... Wait, so this sentence starts with this. This is all one sentence. It should be noted that on 9/4/2018, while running through the evidence submission list with lab tech Patricia Lopez, several items were listed that the CBI lab ultimately did not wish to take possession of at that time. That's one sentence. Those items are crossed out on the evidence submission form, which has been added to the case file. The refused items are as follows. Okay, so why did the CBI not wish to take possession of oral swabs from Celeste, control swabs from Celeste, oral swabs from Bella, left palmar swabs from Bella, right palmar swabs from Bella, control swabs from Bella, right palmar swab from Shanann, left palmar swab from Shanann, control swabs from Shanann, driver's side seat cover from work truck, trace lift from center console, trace lift from back seat. And it says driver's side, DRIERS side. If you can believe it. These items were not take by CBI, were transported back to the Frederick Police Department and checked into evidence. Nothing further per cell. Okay. So why did they not want those? Hamburglar must have said no, thank you. All right. So now, Discovery page 1078. Request for laboratory investigation again. And it has for Christopher L. Watts. And it shows that he has not entered a plea. Huh. What date is this? It shows the date of offense is 8/13. And then they put the suspect, and then they put the suspect as Shanann, and then they cross it out and put victim because there wasn't enough spaces for the victims on this sheet. And then it says the offense is homicide ×2. Okay, so on this we're only counting 2? Maybe that's a 3 and it's blurry. You know what? I was thinking. I have a pen with a magnifier on it I can get. Let me see here. I'm trapped. Alright, let's see. No, that's not going to do it. Need a magnifying glass. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it does look more like a 3. Okay. So we're going to go back down here. And this has the evidence. And they're, okay. Paper bag, repackaged. Packaged paper bag, paper bag. Okay, so it's basically, I assume this is saying that these are the things that the CBI didn't want, so they repackaged it. I'm assuming that's what this must be. Because it says repackaged paper bag, repackaged paper bag. I appreciate that they are keeping a good trail of what is going where. Makes the most sense out of this. Why, oh why, is it so repetitive? It says additional case information, and it's got this one little document that's in there, and I can't see what that is. It's about the size, like 2 inches. I don't know what they did there. And then repetition, still going into the inventory of items submitted and repackaged, because the Tamburglar said, no, I don't want it. Okay, and then it says, the following information was documented at the time it was gathered. The date of this report is not indicative of when the investigation occurred. And then it says on 8/16/18, I was already on scene at the Survey 319 tank site as I arrived the previous evening and remained there overnight as scene security. Okay, so we've got that. This is just another thing here, and it is talking about the grid of the premises and the subsequent safety and operational briefing that they did with Brett Schlesser. And then the thief hatch was opened, and then it says after several hours of draining the east tank, oil level was low enough to allow the removal of the manway cover located on the north side of the tank. And then DT welding employees removed most of the bolts holding the manway cover in place, but due to the high flammability hazard, CSP hazmat troopers removed the final bolts and cover. Okay. So this is all what we've read before. And then it says here that based on several photos I viewed previously and the information about the girl's bedtime clothing Watts disclosed in his interview, I believed the decedent was Celeste Watts. I assisted Joey in securing the decedent into a gurney and placing her into the coroner's vehicle. We've read all of this stuff before. And then it states basically the same thing where from photos he identified Bella Watts. Now that is definitely something that has came up because generally you have to have the identities of loved ones confirmed that it is them by a loved one, and we don't see in here that that was done by any family member. Um, Something that has been made a lot of was when Shanann's mother was on the Dr. Phil show, and the coroner called because he wanted to see how identification should be done, and she said, "Well, if she had black hair, is she beautiful? Then yes, that's my daughter." And you know, it's a little I don't know. I mean, the histrionics with Shanann's mother never cease to amaze me. I don't know if then they sent a picture. I don't know how they were positively identified. I don't know if Ronnie did. But and maybe it'll say how they're positively identified later in the documents. But I've always wondered about that. And then we have the search warrant. And we've seen that before. And they have the pictures here of the probable cause that they believe that the bodies of Shanann, Bella, and Celeste were on those properties. And that's why the search warrant was granted. And it says that there is probable cause to believe now located on the property to be searched is certain evidence, to wit, the bodies of Shanann Catherine Watts, Bella Marie Watts, and Celeste Catherine Watts. And then it says there's clothing of the decedents, footprints, tools, blood stains, blood, saliva, tissue, and any other material that may contain DNA. This is what they're saying that they're looking for in this search warrant. And it says any trace evidence, including but not limited to hairs, fibers, bloods, and blood stains, tissue, fingerprints, including the tank of on-scene rolled prints of the deceased for identification purposes, and any items which may contain DNA, any items pertaining to transfer of evidence from a vehicle to the oil tanks or the clandestine grave. So you can identify by fingerprints as stated here, but your fingerprints have to be in the system, and I don't think that Shanann had been previously arrested or that she had a job that required the fingerprints to be in any systems, but I could be wrong. And it says, upon one or more grounds as set forth in Rule 41B, Colorado Rules of Criminal Procedure, namely, 1 is designed for intended for use which has been used as a means of committing a criminal offense or the possession of which is illegal, is designed or intended for use for which or has been used as a means of committing a criminal offense or the possession of which is illegal, would be material evidence in a subsequent criminal prosecution. It says the names of the persons whose affidavits have been taken into support here thereof are Detective Dave Baumhover, and I am satisfied that there is probable cause to believe that the property so described is located on the person, premises, or in the vehicle above described. You are therefore commanded to search forthwith the person, place, or vehicle above described for the property described at any time, day or night. This warrant shall be executed within 14 days of the date the warrant is issued. The return shall be made promptly and shall be accompanied by a written inventory of all property taken. You shall deliver to the person from whom the property is taken, or from whose premises or vehicle the property is taken, a copy of this warrant together with the receipt for the property taken, or, in lieu thereof, to leave the copy and receipt at the place from which the property is taken, and to deliver the issuing judge a written inventory of the property with the return of this warrant. And it says, dated here, this 15th day of August, 2018, at Weld County, Colorado. And that was signed by Julie S. Hoskins. Alrighty. And then the affidavit for the search warrant continues to the next page. And it is repeating exactly what it said before. So it's just a repeat of that search warrant, what it's looking for. It has the drone pictures above. Oh, yep, this is just a copy, and then it goes into the whole reasoning for the affidavit, where the probable cause goes to Officer Coonrad being dispatched by Nicole Uthoff calling through the 911 system. Goes through. We've read all of this before. And goes into neighbor Nate's video showing. So it's everything here that just goes with the search warrant. And now this is the only paragraph that I see that might not have been in the other. And it says, in a subsequent interview, Chris was confronted about his deceptive polygraph results and asked to speak with his father, who was present at the police department. Chris said he would tell the truth after speaking with his dad. After being allowed to speak with his father, Chris stated that after he told Shanann he wanted a separation, he walked downstairs for a moment and then returned to his bedroom to speak with Shanann again. While in the bedroom, via a baby monitor located on Shanann's nightstand, he observed Bella sprawled out on her bed, and Blue and Shanann actively strangling Celeste. Chris said he went into a rage and ultimately strangled Shanann to death. Chris said that he loaded all three bodies onto the back seat of his work truck and took them all to an oil work site identified as Survey 319 with GPS coordinates, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to say them again. Chris said that he buried Shanann near 2 oil tanks and dumped the girls inside the oil tanks. Chris was presented an aerial photograph of the tank battery area and identified 3 separate locations in which he placed the bodies. Prior to Chris's confession, investigators arrived at Survey 319 with consent to initiate a drone search of the area. At approximately 4:15 p.m., investigators spotted a bed sheet in the field near the tank battery. The sheet matched the pattern of several pillowcases and a top sheet recovered from a kitchen trash can from the Watts' residence early that day. That search was conducted with prior consent provided by Chris. The drone search also revealed fresh movement of dirt consistent with a clandestine grave near the oil tanks. Your affiant respectfully requests the issuance of a search warrant to complete a search of the identified premises. And that is saying that the affiant is indeed Detective Dave Baumhover. And it says this affidavit consisted of 4 pages, was subscribed and sworn before me this 15th day of August 2018, signed again by Julie C. Hoskins. And that is just showing, this was wrapped up in, I mean, miracle time because she was they ignored Nicole's first call at 9 a.m., acknowledged her call at 1 p.m. Monday. And we are talking that Monday at 1 o'clock to now them finding everything and all of the warrants and everything all completed Wednesday night. So from Tuesday afternoon at 1 to Wednesday night at 10, this was all exposed, and I don't see why that time frame is problematic to her mother. She didn't seem like she was interested in if they were okay. You know, it wasn't like she was like hysterical. Like, I mean, I mean, Boo Boo, when Boo Boo was little, he escaped to the garage, and was hiding in the garage. And I mean, I was on the ground just screaming and crawling, and my relationship with Boo Boo is not normal. I'm not saying that other people would freak out if they couldn't find their cat for a few hours, but I did. I mean, I couldn't function. I was literally on the ground, slobbering, crying, and I guess when they went to the garage and looked, he was just sitting there like, what? He snuck out when they went out, and thank God he didn't get out. But if I was in the situation that Shanann's mother was, where her daughter and two granddaughters were missing that she had just seen, I would think that instead of saying the unthinkable, I would imagine that she'd be on the ground, drooling, screaming, crying, needing a freaking Thorazine drip, instead of like, oh, I bet you that they're being covered in oil right now. Well, you better check this. Well, yeah, well, don't tell them this. Well, you know what? If you haven't called me back, I mean, I don't know how she formed the words. I don't know. And I don't know why my tea isn't strong enough. I'm going to have to freaking start putting 3 tea bags in there, I guess. So anyway, this is the return in inventory. And it says that the undersigned officer with being sworn says on the 15th day of August 2018, I duly executed the within search warrant by taking it into my possession from this person at the place of the vehicle said in the warrant, certain property, and the following is a true and complete and correct inventory of the property as taken, and it says refer to attached inventory sheet. I further certify that said inventory was made by me in the presence of Tony Husky, and that a copy of said warrant and a receipt for the property taken was given to me, to Tony Husky, and the person from whom or from whose premises or vehicle the property was taken or was left by me at, and it is notarized and signed by Detective Dave Baumhover. And so that's the receipt, and we're going again, and it's got the inventory log, and it's got every single thing again, and it shows everything, and then it shows that Shanann, Celeste, and Bella were released to the coroner. In a supplemental report, no property. FPD says the supplemental report was generated solely for the purpose of creating property numbers and tag numbers for CDs created for Weld County DA investigator Kathy Holscher to aid in discovery for the defense. This round of CDs contains a total of 24 discs. These all contain media files such as body-worn camera and photos, and these CDs will be created and given to Kathy Holscher as the media files come in. Nothing further per cell 1701. On 9/13/2018, at approximately 1100 hours, Evidence Supervisor Purcell was in the process of booking and organizing evidence in the evidence room located at 333 5th Street, Frederick, Colorado. Upon moving one bag of evidence for this case, it was noticed that the bag had begun to mold. Evidence Supervisor Purcell immediately placed the bag into the evidence freezer and notified Commander Egan of the finding. The evidence is listed as dirt from the coroner's sheet. This was dirt collected from the bottom of the drying cabinet at the time the sheet was hung to dry. Nothing further. Purcell, 1701. Well, that's really interesting because the way they did it, it sounded like they were, in a drying cabinet. You would think would be maybe dry with maybe warm air circulating. I don't know how they got mold, but they did. And then on 8/14/2018 at approximately 19:10 hours, which is 7:10 p.m., I assisted Officer Lyons with canvassing the neighborhood. I spoke with a woman who resides on 6828 Steeple Rock Drive. I asked her if she had reviewed the flyer officers had left on her door and if she happened to know the Watts family. She stated she was aware of the situation but did not know the family. The woman stated she had not seen anything suspicious around the neighborhood other than an older gray Ford truck stopped to dump out his beer can and then later come back to retrieve it. What? This was the only house I contacted before getting called away to handle other calls for service. Okay, why would you do that? I mean, was it because this guy is just drinking and driving as usual, dumps out his beer can, sees the cops, and is like, oh, I don't want to have them trace me down for a DUI? Or is this a freaking accomplice or witness? That is crazy. And it's weird. She's like, I haven't seen anything suspicious other than an older gray Ford truck stopped to dump out his beer can and then come back and later retrieve it. That would be relevant. And then on 9/14/2018, after several attempts to speak with someone at the McDonald's that knew about the surveillance system, I finally got a call back from the supervisor, Brian Arpin. Brian advised the McDonald's did not use a security system company. Brian advised that they only used a DVR that only held enough memory for approximately 2 weeks before automatically deleting to free up memory space. Brian advised in the flash drive I had provided him, he was able to put all of day 8/10/2018 and only about half the day of 8/11/2018 worth of video. I was unable to retrieve video surveillance of 8/12, 8/13, and 8/14. Nothing further, Officer Perez. Well, that be any less helpful there? Okay. So we go on August 17th, 2018. I received an email from Zach Brick who stated he worked for the Flatirons. Oh, here we go. Ready? This is a big one. On August 17th, 2018, I received an email from Zach Brick who stated he worked for the Flatirons HD Ultrasound office, located in Erie, Colorado. Brick stated that he had heard about what had happened on the news and wanted to inform the police that Shanann Watts and Christopher Watts had been in their office on 8/8/18. He advised me that there was video recordings in the office and he sent me a link to those videos. I did not review the videos in full, and Brick reached out to the Frederick Police Department on his own accord. Evidence technician Amanda Purcell downloaded the videos and placed them on a CD and into evidence. Okay, there you go. I said there had not been an ultrasound. I was completely wrong. Here it is. I have now seen it after going through, how many hours here? Doing 30 videos so far at at least 2 hours each. So 60 hours plus, however much of me doing whatever, 60 hours plus, and I finally found this. And if I would have just listened straight up to Bumblebee, who said that she had indeed gotten the ultrasound, I would have known. But now here it is. Here it is right here on part 30. And I'm going to put that in here because it is on page 979 of 1960. And it is discovery page 1095. And it is stating here in the supplemental report that on August 17th, he called. So she had the ultrasound on 8/8/18 ultrasound. And this would have been good at trial because it would have shown that there was indeed a live baby, and how he was measuring per date, whatnot. Well, and see, I don't know if private ultrasounds can show all of that. I don't know. I've never had a private ultrasound, but it states here that Shanann and CW were here. What this doesn't say is it doesn't say that NA was there, because supposedly they wrote the gender in an envelope and was handed to NA. So why is it not saying that Nicole was there? It is saying that Christopher was there. Because there was the rumors that she wasn't pregnant, that she had self-aborted, that she went to North Carolina to deliver a baby, which there would not be a baby for this ultrasound, etc., etc. So I was wrong in saying that I did not believe that she had any ultrasound. I apologize for stating that. I have now seen with my own eyes that this is what it states. And I will do my best to write a disclaimer on any other videos that I wrote in there that or said that I had not seen it. But like I say, this clears up a lot of rumors, and it clears up something that I was mistaken in. So, private ultrasound. And I think that it would be really... I think that, if this would have went to trial, or if it does go to trial, to show how far along she was. And then definitely the gender, because I'm still not 100% believing that it was a boy, because it came from supposedly NA telling SW, because she wanted something to cheer her up, something to cheer Chris up, something to keep him going, because she had nothing. And her backup plan of going to North Carolina and starting with a new family wasn't working out so well. So, there we go. The ultrasound. The illustrious, did she have one or did she not? Now, she did not show up for her doctor's appointment, which also had the ultrasound scheduled. She did not have. So she didn't have an ultrasound because she missed the doctor's appointment. So the private ultrasound, let's see. So 8/8. That does not line up with the other dates. Well, wait a minute, does it? Because, okay, if 8/13 is Monday, 8/12 would be Sunday. Yeah, I guess it does. 8/11 would be Saturday. 8/10 Friday. So, okay, so this was the Wednesday before. So, I think that this is relevant and interesting. Very interesting. And it's interesting that they didn't go to him, that he made the effort, that he went and did this because he had called in before, as we saw, and he didn't get a return call, obviously. So he did this because you would think that they would want to go over there and be like, hey, was she actually pregnant? And, but I mean, they'd have to have a search warrant to, I don't know, with a private ultrasound, if they would need to have a warrant. I don't know if the HIPAA things go for that. I don't know. How'd she pay for a private ultrasound? Okay, when Christopher Watts is busted for paying too much, like he couldn't get out cash on his own so that she wouldn't know where he was or how much he paid. Didn't couldn't the payment for the hair products didn't go. They didn't have any money, so how would you be able to fund a private ultrasound? I think those are $200 or $300. Um, especially in 2018. I thought they were like $200 or $300. So this also proves that the ultrasound that she sent on Father's Day was not of this baby. Um, and then the ultrasound things I've shown that have been shown on other things that she puts up are proven to be of Cece. So she says things in messages and puts things in that are confusing. Very confusing. There we have it. I was wrong. Mark that down as the first time in history. Okay, so let's see here. And then we go here and we show that on 9/5/2018, at approximately 1600 hours, which is 4 o'clock p.m., Evidence Supervisor Purcell took custody of 2 flash drives dropped off at the PD by a man, stating the flash drives were for Officer Brent Manley or Officer Kate Lines from the Conoco. The man did not state what they were for. Evidence Supervisor Purcell spoke with Officer Lines about the flash drives. Officer Lines stated she was unaware what the flash drives were for. Upon speaking with Officer Manley, it was learned that the flash drives were for the Watts case. I then handed the flash drives over to Detective Baumhover so that he may view them if he wished. Neither Officer Manley nor Officer Lines viewed the content of the flash drives. Okay. What were in those flash drives? Huh. On August 15, 2018, when I went to the Frederick Travel Center Conoco, located at 3768 State Highway 52, to see if I could get the recordings from their security cameras, Officer Lyons had been to the facility earlier in the week providing dates and times that we were wanting to record. I spoke with Robin, who told me that she would be getting the recordings placed on USB drives and will get the UB drives to me when completed. I was advised by Robin on August 27th that the recordings were complete. The USB drives were received at the police department by Amanda Purcell and added into evidence. I took screenshots of the text messages between Robin and I concerning the recordings and the USB drives. Those have been added to this report. My body-worn camera was not on while I was in the store talking to Robin about when the recordings would have finished. End of report. Sergeant Manley, 974. The plot thickens. Okay, so now it goes here, and it's a screenshot. It's like, hi Brent, this is Robin from Frederick Travel Center, the Conoco station. Was wondering if you guys still need the video surveillance that you came in and talked to me about yesterday, considering the devastating outcome of the case. Please let me know as soon as possible. Okay. Hi, Robin. Yes, we are still wanting to all the video we can to try and have a complete and accurate timeline. Thank you. Do you think that would be finished by today by chance? I will see what I can do and let you know around noon how far I'm able to get by then. Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Got all video for North Register onto the thumb drive. Now I'm working on the South Register. Sorry it's taking so long, but it's because it's all in color and that takes forever. Okay, so it'll be ready by Wednesday, do you think? We'll try. Gonna run out of space on the thumb drive, but pretty sure we have extra ones here. I'm the only one that is working on it. Got the footage done finally. Thumb drives are ready to pick up. On 8/17/18, Evidence Supervisor Purcell requested the 911 call and radio traffic from the initial check well-being call for this case from Weld County Communication and Dispatch. On 9/5/2018, the requested CD was received through the U.S. Postal Service and put into evidence by Evidence Supervisor Purcell. Nothing further. Purcell. 1701. Okay, so we go over here and it's like those two drives. It's crazy because, he's like in contact with her about, getting the drives from the Conoco. And then she like comes in and brings them in or whatever. And then they're like, huh, we don't know what these are. Oh, I guess, yeah. Like, why was there confusion? Why wasn't it like, hey, can you put them here? Or I will come and get them from your office at this time. Can you put them in an envelope? But no, of course not. Of course not. Now here we are in the Greeley Weld Criminal Justice Records. Let's see here. This is an application for release of criminal justice records and dispatch recording. And released, blah, 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 whatever that is. And now over here we say that on 9/19, Evidence Supervisor Purcell received an email from Detective Baumhover forwarded to him from Officer Brent Manley, contains links to security footage and medical files from an ultrasound imaging office located in Erie. See Officer Manley's report. Evidence Supervisor Purcell attempted to access these links but was denied. Supervisor Purcell notified Detective Baumhover of this, and then he provided contact information for Zach Brick with Flatirons HD Ultrasound Limited Liability Corporation. Evidence Supervisor Purcell then contacted Zach to request access to the files through Google Drive, where the files were shared. The files were downloaded and saved to the case by Purcell. Nothing further, Purcell. And now over here it says it's an email from Amanda Purcell, or from Dave Baumhover to Amanda Purcell and Brett Manley. And it says, Brent, Amanda is downloading the videos from the link Zach provided, but you'll need to complete a supplemental for this since Zach sent the files direct to you directly. Thanks, Dave Baumhover. Okay. And then it says Ultrasound Clinic for Shanann. Okay. Oh, here we go. To whom it may concern, we are a non-diagnostic prenatal ultrasound center here in Erie, Colorado, and we're made aware of what has happened to this family recently. This is truly a horrible situation, and we send our best wishes to the family. The Watts family visited our location on 8/8/18 from 6:40 to 7:16 for an elective 3D, 4D prenatal ultrasound. Here are all of the files collected from their visit. Attached in the document are links to video clips from our security camera the digital ultrasound files, and the family picture we acquired. We also have sign in forms at the office if needed. Also, we prefer not to have any press involvement as to not scare our clients, so we ask that you do not publicize our information or reference us to the press. Thank you in advance for your understanding. And here it is in this discovery. Probably everybody had to go up there and drive by and be like, this is where the ultrasound was. There we go. And it says, okay, and it's got security camera footage, files from visit. Oh man, I want to see. And it doesn't say anything else. And then here we are at another supplemental. And this is a supplemental where it says, on August 15th, 2018, at about 22:15 hours, which is, what's that, 10:15 p.m., I, Officer B. Manley, assisted Officer Walgie and Sergeant Bakes, both with the Frederick Police Department, with executing a search warrant on the home of Chris Watts. I left the residence and helped from Brad's towing and recovery, secure the vehicle Chris Watts was driving. I had sealed the vehicle with evidence tape prior to Brad arriving to tow the vehicle to his secured lot. I ensured the evidence tape on the vehicle was still in place when the truck left the scene. I returned to the house and met with Officer Walgie. I assisted with collection of some bedding from the master bedroom. I carried the plastic bags from the upstairs to the bottom floor. I assisted with looking at the baby monitor from the master bedroom and taking videos of what the camera would have seen if the babies were in the room. I assisted Officer Walgie with the collection of the baby monitor from the master bedroom. I was wearing a body camera at the time I was in that residence, and that recording has been added to this report. I left prior to all of the items being removed from the house and did not see where the items went. End of report. Sergeant B. Manley in the Frederick Police Department. Is this where they were strangling the dolls on the tape? Like, they couldn't just show that, yeah, the monitors would show this room or this angle or whatever. No, they had to go and manhandle a couple of poor dolls that were missing their little friends Bella and Cece. Alright, let's see here. I'm definitely going to have to go up to 3 tea bags on that lemon. It's just too light. Okay, so supplemental report. Now we have Ian Albert. On September 20th, 2018, at approximately 17:30 hours, 5:30 p.m. to us civilians, I was advised by Weld County Dispatch to contact Daniel Fronterzik via phone regarding information on the Chris Watts investigation. I called Daniel who says he resides in New York City and has a theory about the case. Daniel believed there was a connection between Chris Watts and the Zodiac killer from the early 70s. Daniel then continued to make several incoherent statements regarding Chris's late wife possibly being a lover of a male named James Darrell Olson, who may also have links to the Zodiac killer. Additionally, Chris may not be the father of these children and that the Olson party may be their biological father. Daniel did not provide any factual information about the matter. He said this was only a theory and that I could take it for what it was worth. Nothing further at this time. Sergeant Albert, 976, Frederick Police Department. Well, sir, I think that there is something in there that's a little bit true. I, along with many, do not believe that the pregnancy that she was carrying was fathered by Christopher Watts. There are a lot of people who do not believe that Bella was fathered by Christopher Watts. Many people think that both, not Bella, but Cece. Many people think that Cece and Nico were fathered by the other Chris, in which she partied with and was seen in the leopard dress at the Thrive conventions when she left Chris home to take care of the girls. And he coincidentally resides in North Carolina. And it is speculated by some of us that she went out there, said, I'm pregnant with your child again, and I've got two of yours, and yes, you have two and a wife, but now that I have two, you can have me. Because I don't think that one would have done it when he had two with his other wife. I don't know. That's what's speculated. And it is also rumored that that particular Christopher walks to the graves of the girls every day. That's very nice of him. And whether or not that's true, I don't know. Only a couple of people would know. But it's an interesting theory. The timeline adds up, and there's too many questions as to why she was lying about so many things. And she was lying about how far along she was in the pregnancy. Doesn't add up to the measurements of the fetal skeleton. But who knows? So I think that this is where some of the conjecture about there being links to the occult come in. In every case, they try to say that the devil did it. There are very few cases where you don't have some people trying to put that theory in. And they did it in Lacey Peterson, especially. Said that, she was kidnapped and taken as a ritualistic killing, so they could sacrifice a baby and all that stuff. I mean, just, no. And the Zodiac Killer is something that so many people are just always mystified with. Whenever somebody can try and tie something like that in, it gets people to listen because they think that they may know, but no. Nope. I've never heard of this James Darnell Olsen character, though. Anyway, there we go. I have another supplemental report, and it says the following information was documented at the time it was gathered. The date of this report is not indicative of when the investigation occurred. On 9/10/18, I transported the following items to the North Colorado Regional Forensic Laboratory for forensic examinations. Okay. And it says evidence item 98 is Chris Watts' work cell phone. It is a black iPhone 5S model ME341LLA /A with evidence tag 14763. This phone was used by the defendant when the crimes allegedly occurred and was seized incident to arrest. Evidence number 99 is Chris Watts' personal cell phone. It is a black iPhone model MN522LL /A with evidence tag 14764. This phone was used by the defendant when the crimes allegedly occurred and was seized incident to arrest. Evidence item 100 is Shanann's cell phone. It is a rose gold iPhone model MN526LL /A with evidence tag 14765. This phone was used by the victim when the crimes allegedly occurred and was recovered on 8/13/18. Evidence item number 104 is Nicole Kassinger's cell phone. It is a black iPhone 6 with evidence tag 14777. This phone was in Kassinger's possession during the time of an alleged affair with the defendant and when the crimes allegedly occurred. Forensic examination reports are pending and nothing further. Detective Dave Baumhover, number 11, TAC 02. And then let's see here. Ugh, I can't stand not being able to really brush out my hair good. As I've explained to you guys, I'm so right-handed, and I've got, my right hand in a splint, and so it's like trying to brush my hair out with my left. It's like, I'm getting like half of it brushed, and the rest I'm getting snarls. It's so hard. I just want my hair brushed out nicely, but I don't want somebody to pull it. I had this one hairstylist, and nice girl, right? And I mean, how would I know that she would have been like the roughest? Like, I was like about ready to be like, you want to like go out on the street and like duke this out? Like, stop pulling my freaking hair, bitch. I mean, honestly, like, she was yanking my hair. And she's just talking and she's doing it and everything. I mean, she's not mad or anything, but she was so freaking rough with my hair. And it's really weird because, like, I watch her, and, like, every 2 months she's at a different salon. And so it's like, is that the thing? It's like people are like, because she does great hair, she'll put up all the pictures of before and after and everything. And so is that what it is? Is like people are like, she freaking tears your hair out of your freaking head. Like, when you'd have your sister play beauty salon with you, and your sister had a little axe to grind, or you'd be forced to do your sister's hair before school or whatever, right? And you're yanking on your sister's hair. Or maybe that didn't happen with you guys. Maybe just me. But honestly, like, just, I don't know, maybe I have a sensitive scalp. But still, like, I've never had anybody, like, be that violent with my scalp. I mean, a couple of times I've been like, whoa, can you, like, and I mean, that's the thing, is that usually I can say, hey, can you, slow down or whatever, like, ouch. And then, like, when the blow dryer gets a little bit too close to your scalp and you're getting a blowout, like, oh, that's so painful. But, anyway, that's what I'm doing while I'm reading this. I'm trying to tear snarls out of my hair with my one hand. So you guys don't hear the violent hair brushing that you usually do. You can just hear me ripping out snarls. Ugh. So much of my hair falls out because of the stupid VID. That's a huge thing. That's why I think that there's so many commercials for hair growth, because it's such a big business now, because that thing that caused the pandemic causes a ton of issues with hair growth and hair loss. Alyssa Milano did a really good video and was really honest and showed how bad her hair was damaged from it, and I had to get 8 inches cut off the first time around because of how bad it was, just falling out and uneven and everything. And well, it's growing back, but now it's falling back out again from having it again. So anyway, if you were out there wondering why your hair is falling out, you might question yourself and say, have you had Zavid? If you have had Zavid, then yes. Okay, so let's see. Evidence submitted, receipt is agency, and okay, it's just typed out what they took all the phones. And oh, don't you wish you could have a visual of all of the conversations of those phones? Oh my word! If those phones could talk, I mean, we have quite a bit of stuff, but not everything. Not everything. I would have liked to have seen NK's and Christopher's. I think those would have been quite salacious. Quite salacious. I probably would have had to put a disclaimer on here. Okay, you know what? I watch a show and it has a disclaimer, and it's like, this show, has this and that and this and that. The more it lists off, I'm like, that is my kind of show. Nudity, foul language. I'm like, okay, bring it on. And I am still not over, I think I told you guys, I watched The Handmaid's Tale. I binge watched it, as I was recovering from surgery. Still recovering, but And it is the best show I think I've ever watched. As a TV series, one that was the most thought provoking and engaging that I've ever seen. And I think that the problem with it is that it's 1 degree away from what our society could become, if it keeps going in the weird directions that it is. And it really makes you think about what you support and why you support it, um, and what it could lead to. I mean, just amazing. If anybody's watched it, um, tell me if you guys were like lost afterwards, because I'm like lost. Like I want to continue watching it, but and they do have a new season coming out in the summer. So what, I think it was five seasons, 6 seasons. Was it 5 seasons and the sixth is coming this summer? It wasn't announced that it was coming back out, so I'm glad that I watched it now, and I only have to wait till the summer to see it. Or actually, it says like the end of the summer. But and then people are like, oh no, I don't want to watch it. It needs to. I mean, it's such a good watch with the thought provoking. I mean, yes, there's unspeakable things that occur in there, but the way that it's done, it's more thought provoking than it is trying to get that cheap view. You know what I mean? Um, an incredible show, incredible. Um, and then I'm watching The Mayor of Kingstown, and that's so good, and has Sylvester Stallone in it. And White Lotus, both seasons are amazing. Um, The Lake with Katherine Heigl is hilarious. White Lotus is hilarious. The Lake is hilarious. Um, the new season of Ginny and Georgia is back, and that's a cute show. And I watched Wednesday. Tim Burton took over the character of Wednesday in the Addams Family and did a series on it, and it's really, really cute. And then just the silly one I'm watching right now is We Bought a Funeral Home. And it's this couple with 2 kids in Canada. And they're just a cute family. They're really cute. They're like the modern day Addams Family, the mom and the dad and the 2 kids, and they bought this 12,000 foot mansion that was a funeral home, and like it didn't even have a kitchen or anything in it because it didn't need one. It was a funeral home. So that was kind of the interesting thing, and gross thing watching them have to drain the noodles in the kitchen sink and stuff when they're making food. But the way that they bought it, I think for what, like 400 or 450 or 500,000, which is a great deal for this beautiful thing, and it has a pool. And they put in, I think they're at the 400,000 mark with the repairs, so it's going to be $800,000 put in total for this incredible 12,000 foot mansion. But they live in a city of like 2,000, so it's like, what are they gonna do? But you know what? I'd trade city living for that big ass house and the budget to make it beautiful. It is incredible. Check it out. Check it out, I tell you. And of course I watched Yellowstone. So I watched 1883 and I'm watching 1923. I'm a big fan of Taylor Sheridan. And what else am I watching? Oh, I like Big Sky. Big Sky is really good. Um, Big Sky has the blonde. I can't remember what her name is right now, but she played Lagatha in all of the Vikings series, and I love the Vikings. Love Outlander, and I just got an Outlander planner, so that's why I write all my stuff in about doing the episodes. I love Outlander. Um, so let me see. Is that all the shows I've got that I watch? I think so. Let me know what shows you guys watch. I love knowing about you guys. And as such, I still can't reclaim my original um, Instagram. It's just, it was either hacked or whatever. Probably me trying to get into it too many times, right? No, it was hacked. Um, so it started that it was hacked in the Tabitha Jane way, and then it ended up killing off the original profile. So now I have the Tabitha Jane regrouped or back online, but I don't have my original. So I still I love seeing you guys on Insta, and there's a picture of my boo as the profile picture. So people probably think I'm a crazy cat lady. Can you imagine? I kind of am, I guess. I guess I'll take that title. So anyway, sorry for going off on a tangent there on TV, but here I am, and it's saying here that on 9/17/18 I received from Nicole Nikki Kessinger via email her Verizon phone statement for the period of August 14th, 2018 through September 13th, 2018. Kessinger included the following statement in the email body. Here we go. And she writes, Dave Baumhover, I initially offered to provide my phone records to CVI for the requested time frame your team is investigating. You should have already had all my phone records through 8/13/2018. Please see attached records for my new billing statement, which includes phone calls on 8/14/2018. This should be the last date required. Let me know if you have questions or require anything further. Thank you. Best regards, Nicole Kessinger. The statement shows 5 separate events when Kessinger corresponded with Watts on 8/14 at 008 hours, that would be at 8 minutes past midnight, through 0207 hours. So she talked with Watts the day after, so on Tuesday, from 8 minutes after midnight to 2:07 in the morning. So 2 hours, essentially. And it says the phone number recorded, blah, 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 which is Watts' personal cell phone number, it states. And it says, I entered the phone statement into the digital case file. Nothing further. Detective Dave Baumhover. Number 11, TAC 02. Okay. So here we are, and we've got another email. It says to Amanda Purcell from Dave Baumhover. And let's see. It says, oh, it's just a duplicate of what Nicole said. That's it. And here's the Verizon statement. It says, hi, Nicole. Here's your bill for this month. So she was paying $138.80 a month. She paid it through auto pay because she was a responsible lady. And she put on a new add-on and then removed an add-on. So it says her phone bill was $27 more than last month. It says 17 from device payment, 13 from new add-on, and then -3 from removed add-on. So I don't know if that's about her changing phones or not, but look at this. It's like we're going to spin over in the odometer. We are at page 999 of 1,960, which means I am going to hit 1,000. And then that's where I feel like I'm really cool because I'm past the halfway point. Like I say, this is a very big undertaking, but I feel so much better reading everything with my own eyes and understanding how everything went in the vernacular. And I thank you so much for going along with me on this journey. And I'm really sorry that so much of it is really just boring and repetitive. But then when you see something bizarre in there, you're like, okay, it's worth it to go through it with a fine-tooth comb. And I didn't want to do this alone. I wanted to read this with you guys. And like I say, I'm kind of waiting now until I've done everything, where I've read the whole thing, and so we can really then talk about what is relevant in here. So this will be showing that she didn't have any calls with him after that. So basically, what she's saying is true, according to this. But she's a smart lady. If she wanted to contact him, she'd do it on a burner. And then let's see. So just more of her cell phone record. Okay, more of her cell phone record. And more of her cell phone record. She talks to people all over. I guess a geologist does that. Talk about rocks to people. Maybe. And here she is, just going along. I also watched the Virgin River, and it's just like one of those really good TV shows to listen to put you to sleep. Show that was a sitcom was Picket Fences. I just absolutely loved that. And I was able to finally find that on is it Netflix or Hulu? I can't remember. There we go. So we're done with her cell phone. Let's see. Just a second. Really wonder if Nicole writes to him in jail. Just for the purpose of closure and whatnot, I would think she would. Okay. So that's the last page of that. And says the following information was documented at the time it was gathered. The date of this report is not indicative of when the investigation occurred. On 9/18/18, I received from Linda Glantz, Frederick Court Clerk, an email containing a copy of a 2014 traffic summons that was issued to Shanann Watts on 2/8/2014. I forwarded a digital copy of the summons to Frederick Record Supervisor Amanda Purcell for entry into the digital case file and nothing further. Ooh, a traffic summons. What did she do? Let's see here. Traffic. Here you go, it says. And then header of the email. Okay, what do we got? What do we got here? It says that she traffic infraction with a prosecutor assigned. What did you do? Traffic infraction. No, it says case is closed. Ooh. Says that arrangement of traffic. It says that she has to obedience to official traffic control device. Dismissed. And then it says drove defective or unsafe vehicle. Obedience to official traffic control device? What does that mean? And then it says a guilty plea of drove defective or unsafe. She had to pay $120, and then with all the fees, the surcharge fee and the court costs, $170. What is that? Ah, here we go. Ready? It says on February 8, 2014, at approximately 8:20 p.m., I was parked on Puritan Way at Highway 52, monitoring the traffic signal lights when I observed a white color vehicle traveling westbound on Highway 52 failed to stop for the red light. The said vehicle entered the intersection after the signal light turned red. The weather was clear, roads were dry, and traffic was light. The traffic signal appeared to be working correctly. Upon contact with the driver said, "Why did you pull me over?" I informed her that she failed to stop for the red light. She stated, "I have a baby in the back seat and I wasn't going to slam on my brakes." Driver was issued a summons. End of report. What a dumb thing to say. What a dumb thing to say. Oh, so you killed a family of 5 going through the red light because you weren't going to slam on your brakes because you have a baby in the back? What the... That's not very, that's not very responsible. But then I don't understand how it was that she was operating something unsafe. I guess operating the vehicle unsafe? I mean, it's just asinine. Why'd you pull me over? I have a baby in the back seat and I wasn't going to slam on my brakes. Okay, that's a freaking narcissist if I ever heard one. Like, okay, so how do the rest of us manage to stop at red lights? We control the speed that we're going so that we aren't slamming on the brakes. Wow. And then, where she has the scar on her forehead where it was inferred that it was an at-fault accident from her blacking out, possibly, or whatever. So she wasn't the best driver by all accounts. So she has to go to traffic school, it sounds like, and then it says obedience to official traffic control device, drove defective or unsafe vehicle. I don't get that. It seems like she's driving in an unsafe manner, not that the vehicle itself was unsafe. And then, okay, so it says here, on Friday, September 21st, 2018, I, Officer Kate Lyons, responded to 2825 Saratoga Trail for a report of suspicious activity. Dispatch advised the following. RP, so responding party, got a text message from an unknown person that her deceased daughter's back door is open at her house. This is the home of Shanann Watts. Okay, so there you are. We're dealing with Mama Roo. That's just never going to have a good outcome, right? Mama Roo's calling the cops. I remember this one. Okay? So it says here, and this is Officer K. Lyons talking. She says, I walk the perimeter of the home. All windows are secure and there is no sign of forced entry to the home. At approximately 1950 hours, which is 7:50, I again responded to the residents to assist Sergeant Manley. After the arrival of more officers, we performed a search of the inside of the home. We received information that the lights that were on inside the home had not been on prior to this evening, and a neighbor had video footage showing an unknown female walking up to the front of the house but not leaving. The house was clear and all lights were turned off and doors and windows were locked when we exited. Okay, this is what we call September Lady. It is said that a dark-haired female was seen walking through the house, the September Lady. They're trying to say it's a ghost, right? Um, the more logical rumor is that NK went back in through the back door to retrieve clothes that she had left in that house in the basement, because there were clothes that she had left, because she changed when they went to the Shelby Museum or something. He picked her up, or she went over there, and they changed clothes. So supposedly her clothes were there in a duffel bag, whatever. And so she knew how to get in that back way. And so maybe she walked over, went in, and maybe parked, in the block behind. She, wasn't going to go in the front door. So you can believe it's a ghost, or you can believe that it was NK, or nothing, neither of those may be true. But you've got neighbor Nate reporting, neighbor Nate's watching the house at all times. So, the way that she writes it, or that she calls into, it says, dispatch advised the following. Reporting person got a text message from unknown person that her deceased daughter's back door is open at her house. This is the home of Shanann Watts. It's just so dramatic. It's Christopher Watts' home for all intents and purposes. Well, I guess no, because I think that they had him sign the home over, but the home wouldn't have had any equity. Anyway, I don't know how much they just ended up getting out of the sale of this, but anyway. It says here, I was requested to retrieve video surveillance from the Conoco gas station located at 3768 State Highway 52 and the Home Depot 10858 Jake Jabs Boulevard, Firestone, Colorado, from 8/10/2018 at midnight to the present time on 8/14/2018. The store clerk at the gas station stated only a supervisor has access to the video surveillance, and a supervisor will not be in until the next morning. A flash drive was left with the store clerk along with my business card. Upon arrival at the Home Depot, I spoke to the manager, who informed me that she did not have access to the video surveillance at the store. The manager stated she would have to request the video footage from corporate. I left a business card and asked that the footage be sent to my email. Nothing further. Officer K. Lines, 989 Frederick Police Department. Okay. No more of the same there. And then another supplemental report. And it's on 9/21. And it says, on September 21st, 2018, at about 18:05 hours, I, Sergeant Manley, was advised by Weld County Dispatch of a suspicious incident at 2825 Saratoga Trail within town limits of Frederick, Colorado. I was advised that the reporting party, Sandy, stated that she got a text message from an unknown number, and the text stated that the back door to 2825 Saratoga Trail was open. Sandy said that there should not be anyone in or near the house at this time. Okay. So, it went like this. Got a text from somebody, and I don't know who it is, but they stated that the back door's open at my deceased daughter's house at 2825 Saratoga Trail. There should not be anyone in or near the house at all. I want all units on this right now. This is Sandy. So it says, I arrived at the house with Officer Lines. We walked up to the front door of the house and tried to open the front door. The door was secure. I looked through the windows on both sides of the door and did not see anything out of place or any sign that someone had made entry to the house. Officer Lyons and I walked around the front of the house to access the gate to the backyard. I tried to pick up on both garage doors to ensure they were both secure. As we walked around the house, I was looking at all windows and screens, and I did not see anything out of place or that would indicate that someone gained access to the house from the windows. We walked around the back of the house. I noticed that on the back door, the screen door was slid open. I walked up the steps and observed that the door was closed and that there was a security bar in place, preventing anyone from entering through the door. The curtains were in place and did not seem disrupted. After looking to see that all windows and doors appeared secure in the back of the house, we walked back up front. As I was walking by the garage, I noticed that the garage lights were on. I did not recall that the lights were on when I walked up the first time. The house appeared secure at this time, and I did not see any indication that someone had been in or around the house. Officer Lyons and I cleared without incident. Okay, that's interesting. So he sees that the garage lights are on and that they weren't on before, and he's like, yeah, that's fine. So then at about 1951 hours, 7:51, I was contacted by dispatch again. I was told a Frank Rudek, R-Z-U-D-E-K, called in stating that he spoke to the neighbor Nate. According to Frank, Nate stated that the garage lights were still on and that they had not been on in the days past. I responded back to the address and spoke with Nate. He was able to show me on video from him Xfinity home security system on his phone. Not him. He showed me that a female walked up to the house at about 0900 hours and was seen walking up to the front door. Okay, that's 9 in the morning, so why are we at 7:30 at night? Huh, interesting. Let's see where this goes. Okay, neighbor Nate says I responded back to the address and spoke with Nate. He was able to show me video from him Xfinity home security system on his phone. He showed me that a female walked up to the house at about 0900 hours and was seen walking up to the front door. There is no video of the female leaving the area, and shortly after there is a black SUV that is seen passing the house slowly. Nate was able to show me 3 different videos showing the black SUV going slow by the house shortly after the female was seen walking to the front door. I did not see anyone leave the vehicle and approach the house, and did not see anyone come from the house and get into the vehicle. I was able to use a ladder that Nate provided and looked into the top video. Okay, hold on. Nate's now providing them with ladders to go and spy that he just so happens to have handy and knows that they go looking right into those windows. Gee, almost like he's done it before or 100 times, right? Here we go. I was able to use a ladder that Nate provided and looked into the top windows of the garage. I did not see anything that indicated anyone was in the garage, and it did not appear that anyone went through anything in there. Nate explained that he had spoken with other neighbors in the area and that they had also not seen any lights on in the garage in the last few days. While I was looking in the windows, I pushed on the garage, sounding an alarm. Okay, now this says, I spoke to Frankie by phone. He told me that he did not think the lights should have been on either. I told him about the alarm, and he stated that he did not think the alarm was set when he left the residence a few weeks prior. He asked if we would clear the house, and make sure that no one was in the house. They provided me with a door code for the front door. I explained that I would get a few more officers at the house and we would make sure that no one was there. So Frank's like, hey, yeah, can you guys go in there and, clear it? Can you clear the residence? Make sure that no one's in there. Yeah, go ahead and clear it and reset the alarm. Officer Lyons, Officer Perez, Decano Officer Cuxi, and Decano Officer Fratelli arrived on scene. All right, we got an Italian. We've got an Italian stallion. Maybe he's all strapped up and ready to frickin' go. He's gonna go and get to the bottom of this. What is going on here? Okay. They had to go and get an Italian out of this. We Italians, we don't mess around. Get things done. It says, with the image of the party walking up to the door. Okay. So it says, with the image of the party walking up to the door and not seen leaving the house, and the lights on in the garage. Oh no, it's Boo Boo. Boo Boo, no, not yet, please. It says, I wanted to make sure we cleared the house as safely as possible. Uh-oh. We got the boo. The boo might cut our session here. It might be ended here with the boo. Let's see here. Let's see what I can wrap up. We're wrapping up the September lady. Hold on, boo. We're clearing a mystery, okay? We're doing a Scooby-Doo, okay? Hold on. We gotta be a Scooby-Dooing, okay? Can you be nice to Mama and not walk on this? As all 5 of us walked up to the front door, I put in the door code and unlocked the front door. I opened the door and made several announcements. Frederick Police, anyone in the house? Frederick Police, if you're in the house, make yourself known. I did not hear or see anything in the house. I made those announcements several times while we walked through the house, clearing room by room. We did not locate anyone in the house and did not observe anything out of place or something that was obviously missing. We checked all cabinets and closets along with the rooms. As we left the house, the garage lights were turned off, and all of the lights we turned on while searching the house were turned off as we left the residence. I was able to secure the front door to the house and check to make sure the door was locked. I spoke with Nate again and advised him that there was no one in the area and that if he would be able to look at his cameras again and see if he could see when the female left the area and if there was a vehicle associated. On 9/22/2018, I had not heard from Nate. I was wearing a body camera during this time. The audio and video recording have been added to this report. End of report, Sergeant B. Manley, TAC 974, Frederick Police Department. Okay, this is going to be where we're going to end because Boo says so. So, we're going to end on page 1024 in our numeration. And we're going to be ending that then on Discovery page 1141. So thank you all for listening and for being along with me for this quest for truth and facts. And so now we've gotten the ultrasound mystery done, and we've got the September lady kind of addressed, and we've got some of the occult stuff where that started from addressed. So without further ado, I thank you so much for listening to me, and if you guys all have any questions, please email me at tabithajane0@gmail.com. I'm getting through my emails. I'm getting closer to getting caught up, so things are looking better. And let's see here. Without further ado, I will say goodbye. Thank you for listening.